The rain came down in thin silver sheets, clinging to the neon reflections of the city streets. Maya Jefferson pulled her coat tighter around her shoulders as she crossed a dimly lit avenue, her umbrella half broken from a wind. She wasn't supposed to be out this late. Her sister had begged her to stay home after the evening shift at the diner. But Maya was stubborn, independent, and used to walking alone. In her 28 years, she had learned that being cautious was a survival instinct, not a choice. A police cruiser slowed as it passed, its headlights glinting off the wet pavement. Maya barely paid attention, until it pulled a sharp U-turn and stopped abruptly near the curb. 2 officers stepped out. She didn't recognize them, but she knew the look, the mixture of disdain, arrogance, and the unspoken authority that said you don't belong here. "Hey, you!" one of them barked. "Where you headed this time of night?" Maya forced a polite smile. "Just walking home. My shift ran late." The taller officer smirked. "Funny. Don't look like you're coming from work. Got ID?" She hesitated. Something about his tone wasn't right. The second officer moved closer, his hand already on his belt. Maya reached for her purse, slow and careful. But before she could even unzip it, the taller one shoved her against the cold brick wall. The impact stole her breath. "What the hell are you doing?" she gasped, her voice trembling. The officer sneered. "Don't get smart. We've had reports of someone matching your description casing shops around here." "That's a lie." Maya protested. "I just got off work. You can call." Her words cut off as the first blow landed. His fist caught her across the face, snapping her head to the side. Pain burst like fire through her jaw. She screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the rain and the steady hum of traffic a block away. The second officer joined in, striking her ribs, forcing her to the ground. Maya curled into herself, arms around her head, but the boots kept coming, kicking, stomping, raining down with cruel precision. It was happening again. Another story. Another black woman brutalized in the shadows of the very system meant to protect her. She thought of her mother, who had always warned her, "Keep your head down. Don't give them a reason." But Maya knew tonight, no matter what she did, they had already decided she was guilty of existing in the wrong skin. A car screeched to a halt nearby. Through blurred vision, Maya saw a young man rush forward, phone in hand. "Hey! Stop!" he shouted, his voice cracking with anger. "I'm recording this." The officers froze, startled. "Back off, kid. This doesn't concern you." The young man's name was Daniel Crawford. He was 24, dressed in jeans and a leather jacket, his expression lit by the glow of his phone screen. His heart pounded as he watched the woman bleeding in the gutter. Something inside him snapped. "This concerns everyone," he yelled. "I saw everything. You're beating an innocent woman." One officer lunged at him, but Daniel backed up fast, keeping the phone steady. He knew better than to fight physically. Instead, he did the only thing that mattered. He hit call. His thumb hovered over a single name in his contacts list. His father. The line rang once, twice. Then a calm, commanding voice answered. "Daniel? It's late. What's wrong?" "Dad." Daniel's voice shook, fury and fear mixing in every syllable. "I need you now. 2 cops are beating a woman. Right in front of me. They won't stop." There was silence. A heavy, chilling silence. Then his father spoke, every word razor sharp. "Stay where you are. Don't hang up. I'm on this." The call ended. Those 2 officers had no idea who Daniel's father was, or what storm was about to descend on them, because his father wasn't just another parent rushing to protect his son. He was Attorney General Richard Crawford, one of the most powerful men in the state. Within minutes, the night changed. Daniel stayed by Maya's side, shielding her as best he could. The officers barked threats, trying to intimidate him, but their voices faltered when more headlights appeared. Black SUVs rolled in, government plates glinting under the rain. Men in dark coats stepped out, followed by a tall figure whose very presence commanded silence. Richard Crawford, the Attorney General. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. He walked directly to his son, knelt beside the battered woman, and looked up at the officers with eyes that could slice steel. "Names. Badges. Now." The officers stammered, their arrogance evaporating. One tried to mutter about resisting arrest, but Richard cut him off. I saw the footage. I heard everything. You're done. By dawn, both officers were in custody. But that was just the beginning. The city awoke to headlines that ripped across every major network. Attorney General intervenes in brutal police assault. Justice for Maya Jefferson. The footage Daniel captured went viral, sparking protests across the country, from New York to London, Berlin to Hamburg. Crowds carried signs with Maya's name, chanting for change. Politicians scrambled to make statements. Police unions tried to spin the story, but the evidence was undeniable. Maya, broken and bruised, found herself at the center of a storm she never asked for. She lay in a hospital bed, ribs fractured, face swollen, wondering why justice only came when powerful men chose to act. She appreciated Daniel and his father. Without them, she might have been another forgotten statistic. But she also knew the truth. There were countless others who never got that call, who never had an attorney general stepping in. When Richard visited her hospital room, he spoke softly. Maya, I promise you, this won't be swept under the rug. Those men will face charges. Her eyes, heavy with pain, met his. And what about the next woman? The next man? Will they need a son who knows someone in power to save them? His silence was the loudest answer. The weeks that followed were a blur of courtrooms, news conferences, and restless nights. Maya stood before cameras, her voice steady despite her scars. She spoke not just for herself, but for every black woman who'd been silenced, dismissed, or destroyed by unchecked authority. Daniel stood by her, a reluctant but determined ally. Their lives had collided by chance, but now they carried a shared mission: to expose, to fight, to demand a system where justice wasn't a privilege granted by connections, but right owed to every human being. And as the world watched, the story unfolded not just as a tragedy, but as a reckoning. Because one night, on one rain-slick street, two officers believed they had the power to erase a life. But one phone call to a father who held the weight of justice in his hands changed everything. And in that moment, the world was forced to confront a question it could no longer ignore. What happens when justice only answers a call of power?